Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another latest Manchester United news and transfer news live stream discussing all the news going about today. Jim Ratcliffe prepared to make a second offer for Manchester United and it is confirmed that he is very, very interested in going for United. There are reports about potential Liverpool and Manchester United buyers, what the situation is and more going around. In my video this morning, we spoke about the Michael Edwards to Manchester United rumours. I said it's not from the most credible source. However, there has been news of Michael Edwards to United in the past. And this is obviously furthermore speculated rumours that Murtough and Arnold will not be at United much longer. Now, in fact, if we get new owners, I'm 99% sure Murtough and Arnold are being sacked. But there are rumours and speculation going around that no one's job is safe at Old Trafford. New owners coming in, Murtough, Arnold gone, but also with the Michael Edwards rumours, could Murtough and Arnold be gone even sooner? We're going to discuss that as well as news of Pulisic to United, the latest on Gakpo, João Felix and more. And then we might talk a bit of World Cup because I tell you what, Canada, Croatia, very good game to watch. I tell you what, there's been a lot of boring games at the World Cup. That first half was very good from Canada and Croatia, and they've got some potential there, Canada. But smash that like button, people. Subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video. First of all, do I think United are going to get Michael Edwards in and sack Arnold and Murtough? Not under the Glazers. That is my opinion. On the rumour that we're going to get Michael Edwards in and that Arnold and Murtough are getting sacked, the Glazers don't do anything logical, and it is very unlogical because if you're selling the club, why are you going to go and get a new director of football if you're selling the club? Why are you going to sack people if you're about to sell the club? Like, why are you handing out and giving out new contracts if you're selling the club? It makes absolutely no sense. So something the Glazers probably would do because it makes more sense. But I think this Michael Edwards rumour and the John Murtough, Richard Arnold being sacked has all come from if new owners come in, that's what's likely to happen. I don't see the Glazers doing it, and it hasn't come from tier one sources. It hasn't come from a Romano or an Ornstein or anyone I particularly trust. It is basically people giving the opinion that if the Glazers go, Arnold and Murtough are going to be sacked. But if it's true that the Glazers are looking at Michael Edwards, Arnold and Murtough are going to be sacked. Now, I think if we get new owners, which is a big if, but actually quite a likely if, at the way it's standing, then Murtough and Arnold don't stand a chance. However, if we get new owners and they're the Glazers' friends, and the Glazers sell to some friends, because if the Glazers sell to friends, maybe they still have power or something, and there's a better deal in it for them. Potentially, Murtough and Arnold still stay there. We know that Ed Woodward has come back and is helping an American company try and buy Manchester United. We know that there's quite a lot going on. And I am going to get into this news and I am going to get up on the screen in a second. But I do want to address the Jim Ratcliffe news as well. And no change will happen until new owners come in. And I'm with Jason Attack on this. I'd be very shocked if Man United make a big change before new owners as well. And after that chaotic, shambolic summer window, Arnold and Murtough should have been sacked in September. Can't see Glazers doing it now, said Alex B. And you're absolutely spot on. Before I get into the Jim Ratcliffe news, because it's big news on Jim Ratcliffe, anyone with a brain would have sacked Arnold and Murtough in summer. I mean, they were literally spotted in Barcelona getting De Jong done. Where's De Jong? He's still in a Barcelona shirt. And then even though I didn't want Rabiot, he was pictured in Turin getting Rabiot done. Where the fuck is Rabiot? I mean, look, I'm glad we got Casemiro and everything happened for a reason and they're quite lucky. But when you actually deep it, Ten Hag said to them, right in May, I want Timber. All right, they fucked about on Timber so much that Louis van Gaal got Timber to change his mind because Timber agreed to come to United. Then Louis van Gaal spoke to him. Timber changed his mind. If we got Timber for international duty, we would have got first choice at back Timber. That's on Arnold and the Glazers. And look, they fucked up, but it worked out because I'm glad we got Lisandro Martinez. He's better than Timber. So we got Lisandro Martinez, but that was Ten Hag's second choice. You've got to remember this as well. Ericsson on the free, for some reason, it took so long to do, which I won't understand. Malacia, he was this close to joining Lyon. He was going to go to Lyon. For Richard Arnold, then here we go, he's going to Lyon. I'm thinking, what the fuck? And then they panicked like shit. And then they went for Malacia. They left it. And then you also got to throw into the fact that Frankie de Jong, we spent the whole summer on Frankie de Jong. Went to Barcelona. He even spoke to the fans saying we're working on de Jong. Never fucking happened. Whether it's their fault or not, it never happened. But because they spent so much time on de Jong, Anthony, he was there for £40 million, and Lisandro Martinez, who would have been £30 million, and we could have got Lisandro and Anthony for £70 million combined. They thought, now we'll wait till August to sort that and we'll go focus on de Jong. So they spent all this time on de Jong that when we went back in for Lisandro, when we went back in for Anthony, we had to pay 25 million more for Lisandro than we would have a month ago, and 50 million more for Anthony than we would have if we got him a month ago. And they'd known for 2-3 months that Ten Hag had wanted him. So Richard Arnold and John Murtough should have been sacked off the basis of, well, we know that Erik ten Hag's one of these players for a while, and because of you taking your sweet time, the price is doubled. Cody Gakpo was also who Erik ten Hag wanted, and they said he couldn't get Gakpo because of the price of Anthony. But if we'd have got Anthony back in May, he'd have been 40 million cheaper, and then we could have got Gakpo for 30 million in the summer, and we could have actually got Anthony and Gakpo for less. And that is on the board. That is on the owners. That is on, you know, Murtough, Dumb and Dumber, as we call them. And anyone with a brain and anyone that cares about football would have sat them. And if I was the Glazers and I was thinking about money, I'd be going, these guys being so shit at their job has cost us 50 million on Anthony. Look how much money we had to spend this summer. If they were efficient, got the deals done quicker, we would have got the same amount of players for about 50, 60 million less. That's general facts. And then we could have got Gakpo. So, you know, it would make sense for Arnold and Murtough to be sacked, as Alex B said, but United kept them. And now all of a sudden, now we're getting new owners. We're hearing they might be sacked. We're hearing no one's job is safe at Old Trafford. You know, and look, I think that news is actually coming out from the fact that if new owners come in, they will be sacked. I don't think the Glazers are going to touch Murtough. I don't think the Glazers are going to touch Arnold. Again, it's not come out from sources that I trust. But I think if new owners came in, 100% they're gone. If new owners come in that aren't Glazers, if new owners coming from Ambition, Arnold and Murtough are gone, without a doubt. You know, I know there's rumours of Michael Edwards coming in and Murtough and Arnold being sacked, but this is, you know, unless Romano or Ornstein or even someone that I trust gets on it, I'd take those rumours with a pinch of salt, because why would the Glazers be looking to bring someone in and sack people in just if they're going to get new owners in a couple months, and that could completely be overturned? I mean, they did give Bruno a new contract, even though they knew they were getting Ten Hag, and didn't wait for Ten Hag. So you never know with Manchester United. But for me, you know, it's not logical as well. Labio playing well for France, but I'm so glad we didn't get him at United. They should have never been hired, never. And do you know what? Murtough and Arnold was like, okay, it's not Woodward and Judge. That was the only thing positive we could say about Murtough and Arnold, was it's not Woodward and Judge. And people go, oh, Murtough madness. No, they are doing the bare minimum. They're not Woodward and Judge, but they're doing the bare minimum. Murtough and Arnold, and everyone with a brain knew they were doing the bare minimum. And you know, the annoying thing about Murtough and Arnold, and I'll say this again, is that they were already at the club. Like, they were already at the club. So when we sacked Woodward and Judge, we didn't bring anyone new in. We didn't go, oh, look, Woodward's gone, Judge is gone, let's bring someone new and exciting in. We brought people in who were already at Manchester United, who were already here under the 10 years of failure post Sir Alex Ferguson. And we just thought, you know what, Murtough, we're going to promote you into a better role. Arnold, we're going to, even though you're a rugby man that likes Liverpool, we'll put you in a better role because you're bankers. We trust you. You're in a circle. So yes, they sacked Woodward. Yes, they sacked Judge, but they replaced them with people that were already at Man United the last 10 years and already part of this failure. They could have brought in Paul Mitchell. They could have let Ragnick do that consultancy role. That would mean that the Glazers would have to give some power up. That would mean that the Glazers were going to have to give some power elsewhere. And we know the Glazers, that's not what they like to do. So this is exactly why, you know, Arnold and Woodward were here. And Arnold and Woodward had their first summer together last summer. It took us to August, a 4-0 battering to Brentford, and Jim Ratcliffe to come public saying he wants to buy United for them to actually spend. And because they wait till August to spend, you're spending twice the money. And they absolutely embarrassed themselves in the summer. You know, I said this now. I tweeted this back in the summer. I said Arnold and Murtough this summer. Trip to Barcelona, trip to Turin, 300 beers drunk, two nights in the red light district, probably in Amsterdam. Signings, none. They did no signings when they went to Barcelona. They did no signings when they went to Turin. They probably drunk some beer, had a night in the red light district. I don't know what I don't even know what they'd done. But they didn't buy players. And that was a sackable offence in itself. I mean, being spotted in Barcelona, getting De Jong done, but yet De Jong's not here. I mean, it was just embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. But I do also want to get into the news and all that as well. Could Man United get Gakpo and Felix? I mean, any team with ambition would get Gakpo and Felix. They're both available, and Manchester United could do it, but we know who owns Manchester United and we know who operates at Manchester United. And while Man United could do it, they don't have the ambition to do it. If we had Man City's owners and Man City's board, I think that would happen. But as Daniel says, what do I think is going to happen with Sir Jim Ratcliffe? And would Jim Ratcliffe have enough money to completely build the Old Trafford and training complex? And that is the thing. If you get Jim Ratcliffe in, and I'm going to get into the news about Jim Ratcliffe because there was news a few days ago about making a bid, and now there's more news coming out that he's going to make an offer and he's very interested. Look, I'm going to say this now. Jim Ratcliffe loves Manchester United. And if you get Jim Ratcliffe in, you know you've got a man who loves United, wants United to do well, but does he have the money to get United there? Because you've got to remember that, you know, the Glazers are going to sell to the highest bidder, so you've got to massively overpay to get United now because it's all about money to the Glazers. But you've also got to spend at least $2 billion doing up the stadium, paying off their debt, and doing up Carrington. I mean, I think it's shambolic that, you know, the Glazers can't just pay off their own fucking debt when they get the club sold. I just, you know, the Glazers have come in and just put us in like 700 million debt, caused the interest to go boom, boom, boom. You know, Jim Ratcliffe, while I think he would want to buy United and he'd buy United for the right reasons, and some, you know, I'd rather have Jim Ratcliffe come in, who doesn't have the most money in the world, than someone coming with a lot of money but has no ambition for United, of course. You know, Jim Ratcliffe to definitely buy United. He's interested in United, and we know that the fans would definitely get behind Jim Ratcliffe buying United because he's from the area. He's a fan. He's got experience running football clubs. But for Jim Ratcliffe, I still think he would need a consortium of other billionaires behind him. I think it couldn't just be Jim Ratcliffe. There would need to be more than him involved, because I'm just thinking about what needs to happen to Old Trafford. However, we know Jim Ratcliffe likes the club. And while on an economic sense, Ineos is saying it doesn't make sense to buy United, like what are we going to gain on an economic sense? Jim Ratcliffe loves the club, so he's not thinking like that. I think realistically, the Glazers are just going to sell to who gives them the most money, because it's all about money to them, not who they think will be the best. And there could be an American tech company in that's similar to the Glazers with a shit ton of money, and they could beat Jim Ratcliffe to United. We know from Sky Sports that if Apple want United, they'll get United, because Sky Sports said no one can come close to Apple in terms of money. Now, I think Apple would be good owners, potentially, because they've got the money, but you don't know how they'd operate. Now, we don't know if Apple want United or not. It's all rumours, they haven't confirmed. We know Jim Ratcliffe's interested, we know Dubai's interested, and we know some American investors are interested in Manchester United that have hired people. You know, at the end of the day, from what we know, the person that wants United, that puts in the highest bid, that has the most money, will get United. And do I think Jim Ratcliffe has the most money out of the people that want United? No. But do I know Jim Ratcliffe is willing to go out of his way to get Manchester United? Yes. I think Jim Ratcliffe's a possibility, but, you know, it's been only a couple of days since, you know, potential Manchester United sale, and there's not a clear favourite to buy United. There's not anyone that's emerged as a clear favourite to go out there and buy Manchester United. You know, I think that there's a lot of people that are possible. I would keep an eye on US investors. I would keep an eye on Jim Ratcliffe, and I'd keep an eye on Dubai, but there's not someone that's come out and it's like, yeah, they're buying Manchester United. Keep smashing the like button, people, and of course subscribe down below. A lot of people saying Apple in, people saying Sir Jim in. Let me know down below who you'd like. As Diego says, nearly 400 people watching, so do subscribe. Guys, we are so close to 54k. We're on 53,980 subscribers, so only 20 subscribers away from 54k. So keep clicking the subscribe button if you're not already. See if we can get that before the end of the live stream. We're going to talk about Pulisic to United. Big news on Pulisic going to United on loan as well. So that will be interesting, and we will get into that as well. An Ineos spokesperson recently talked about the profitability and return investment. Definitely has me more hesitant about Sir Jim. Exactly. Ineos don't seem too keen on United as well. And Nicholas says we need at least 2 free players in January, new owners by summer at latest, and a great summer with both in and out, new sport director announcing new facilities and stuff like that. And you spot on. What do Manchester United need? And then I actually do need to get into the news, because I've been gibberishing a lot and I haven't got into loads and loads of news. But what Manchester United do need are new owners that are willing to invest in the club, bring in the new facilities, do Old Trafford, have the money to do that, but also the ability to go, you know what, Arnold and Murtough, absolute idiots. We need to get a sporting director in as well. So Jim Ratcliffe is very interested in buying Manchester United and intends to make an offer to buy the club, is the news coming out. But what else has been said about Jim Ratcliffe, guys? We're going to quickly dive into this news story, then we'll dive into the story on Arnold and Murtough, and then we'll dive into the story on Pulisic, then we'll dive into the Gatlo story, then we'll dive into the João Felix story. So, Sir Jim has rejected the chance to purchase Liverpool in favour of launching an official bid to sign Manchester United. Sir Jim is a United fan, so of course he's turned down buying Liverpool, and he really wants and is interested in buying United. But will, you know, his company get behind him? That is the question. It was said that Ratcliffe isn't interested in buying Liverpool, who have been put up for sale by FSG. The bank Goldman and Sachs had offered him a chance to buy the Merseyside club, but Ratcliffe is more interested in Premier League rivals United. And we will get into what Gary Neville said, but it seems more people are interested in buying United than Liverpool. However, Liverpool will be half the price of United. So, You know, while people want United over Liverpool, Liverpool will be half the price because their owners aren't as greedy as ours, which, you know, I don't think anyone's more greedy than the Glazers. And it was said that Ratcliffe doesn't want to pass up the opportunity to buy United, and any offer made would be reportedly worthy of being accepted. Now, this is the interesting thing. They're saying Ratcliffe wants to buy United, and his offer is worthy of being accepted by the current club's owners. So if he puts in an offer and there's not much competition, he could potentially be the owner of Manchester United, is what they're saying. This is my fear, and this is my fear. Man United and Liverpool are both up for sale at the same time. And while people would choose to buy United over Liverpool, and while we're more favourable and desirable than Liverpool, and I don't think the Glazers would have announced we're for sale if they didn't think we could beat out Liverpool, Liverpool's owners aren't as greedy as ours. And Liverpool's owners in their statement basically said they want to do what's best for the club. They want, you know, they want someone to come in that can mean the club can compete with Man City. You know, and Liverpool is selling because they need someone that's going to have the money to let them compete with Man City. So that's why Liverpool for sale. And they'll sell to owners they think are good. And while FSG aren't the golden owners, they're a lot better than the Glazers. And Liverpool will probably get some good owners in that are really going to try and take Liverpool back to the top. The Glazers have said they want to sell United, but they would also be open to investment. The Glazers aren't, you know, Liverpool are doing a statement about how they want to compete with City again, and they're selling because they don't have the money. The Glazers are selling because they need the money, you know, and they want the money. And the Glazers are very much, we know from the Glazers, it's not about letting Man United compete with Man City. It's about what offer's going to get them the most money. And my biggest fear is with Man United and Liverpool for sale at the same time, Liverpool get owners that are generally ambitious because they're going to sell to someone that actually cares about Liverpool. And Man United end up getting owners that the Glazers will sell to because they've got the most money, and we're just under Glazer ownership again. And this is what I don't want to happen. And at least with Jim Ratcliffe, while he's not got the money of other investors, at least you know that he would care about the club. But the only thing is, would Jim Ratcliffe be a bit like Liverpool? Not that I'd say Liverpool's owners completely care, but would Jim Ratcliffe be someone that doesn't have the money to get United to the top, but wants to get United to the top? So at least he'd be smart with his money as well. And can Sir Jim actually afford to buy the club and pay for everything else, the new stadium, training ground, and transfers, which is what we've been talking about. They said that, you know, Jim Ratcliffe could put an offer worthy of it, but I do think long term, I don't think he's riddled with the money that other people have. Let's push for 100 likes, people. Apple definitely have the money. Look, if someone wants to buy United, you know, Apple buying United is just like, it's like us spending £10 on a fruit machine. It's absolutely nothing to them. Absolutely nothing. And Daily Mail says the Middle East more interested in Liverpool. We want the Middle East ideally because that's where the money are and that's where the passion is. And the fact that Sir Jim said he would put a common business scene over passion is a big red flag. Did he say that? I wasn't too familiar with that. I'd have to look into that again. I know there's a few things Jim Ratcliffe has said which are a little bit of red flags and things that come out from Ineos that are a bit of red flags, but I'd need to dive in it a little bit more as well. Big up Ahmed for the 100 life as well. And Ratcliffe should leave us alone for the oil money from the Middle East. The experience of Mark Ashley's ownership of Newcastle is enough to trust British ownership. Well, to me, I don't think it's a country. You know, I think to say all American owners are awful or all English owners are awful is it's not the best thing. You know, while American owners, you know, a lot of them aren't interested in football like we are. There are good American owners out there. There's good Middle Eastern owners out there. I think we have the stereotype that if they come from the Middle East, they're going to be like Man City and Newcastle's owners, brilliant and spend money. And if they come from America, they're going to be like the Glazers. Whereas, you know, there could be some really good American investors out there and some really poor Middle Eastern ones out there. But at the end of the day, we need someone that cares about United, is passionate about taking United back to the top, but also has the money to do that. And that's what we want to get as well. As Daniel has said, let's get Alice to 54,000 subscribers, people. We are on 53,982 subscribers. 18 subscribers away from 54k. So do keep clicking that subscribe button. If you're new, I do want to dive into the next story. I want to dive into this story first. And this was an interesting story. This hasn't come out from anyone who's credible. This has come out from someone I'm not familiar with. So take this story with a pinch of salt. It's not come out from credible people, but it has been said that no job is safe. Manchester United staff will be informed that their job isn't safe and there will be big changes. That's the message coming from the new ownership to prepare for the departure of the Glazer family. Now, while this is a source that isn't trusted, so do take it with a pinch of salt. You know, it's not someone that we know of. What they're saying makes sense. You know, the message coming from new ownership is no job is going to be safe at United. There's going to be big changes. When someone comes into United, you know, they're going to look at how the Glazers run the club. And if they're ambitious, they're going to go, well, we're not going to run the club like the Glazers. You know, Arnold out, Murtough out. You know, they might go to Paul Mitchell, get the fuck in here. They might go to Michael Edwards, get the fuck in here. They might go back to Ralph Ranick and say, we want you in that consultancy role. That's what they might do, and, they're 100% right. Arnold and Murtough should be worried about their jobs, because if we do get new owners, unless they're friends with the Glazers and Woodward comes back and we just get Glazers 2.0, and that's what I'm worried about, this is what we want. We want Arnold gone, we want Woodward gone, and any good owners that buy us, they're gone. There's a question of, would Ten Hag be gone? If Manchester United got new owners in, could that be the end of Ten Hag? And that's a possibility. Newcastle came in and they sacked Steve Bruce, but there's a massive difference between Steve Bruce and Eric Ten Hag. I think if new owners came in and they sacked Ten Hag right away, there'd be uproar, there'd be outrage, everyone would be absolutely fuming. Whereas, Newcastle wanted, Steve Bruce sacked. So I don't think that Ten Hag would go, but, no one is safe when new owners go. And I think, if they did sack Ten Hag, I'd be fuming. If we get new owners in and Ten Hag gets the sack, honestly, that would be one of the most angry I've been as a United fan. And there's a lot of things to be angry about as well. Todd Boehly is spending money at Chelsea, mad money as well. And we needed to buy investment fund to get the best class for every position. And we just need someone with a shit ton of money that cares as well. And Alice, did you see the story about Apple not being interested in United? Is it true? Because I had hope. It's not come out from a source I'm familiar with. There's some sources saying Apple are interested, some sources saying Apple aren't interested. What I do know is if Apple are interested, they'll get United because they've got the most money, and the Glazers will sell to who gives them the most money. I don't know if Apple are interested or not, because Sky have said it's believed Apple will be interested because tech companies want to get into football because they could advertise United on Apple TV. And from a business perspective, if Apple TV start doing football, they can make even more money, especially with Sky going downhill because everyone's cancelling their Sky membership. We know how big the Premier League is. And the thing is as well, the thing about United is they're the biggest team in the most watched league. The Premier League is the most watched league. And if you don't believe me, teams that come 15th in the Premier League have the same amount of money as teams that come 5th in La Liga. Other than El Clasico, there's no, the Premier League viewing figures are miles bigger than all of the other leagues. The Premier League has more money than the other leagues. The Premier League is almost the Super League. Like, it's getting that way. Wolves are bottom of the league or something, and they've just got Sevilla's manager in, and Aston Villa have just got Emery in. Teams that are literally 20th to 16th in the Premier League will be coming 10th in all the other leagues. They've got the money. They've got more money. Relegation sides in the Premier League can spend more than top 6 sides in pretty much every other league. The Premier League is crazy, and the money in it's crazy, which is exactly why we need new investment. And if you're Apple, I think you look at the Premier League and you go, this is the most watched league in the world, the Premier League. It's getting stronger and stronger and stronger because the money in it. Liverpool could get even better if they get new owners. Arsenal on the rise. Look at the money in the Premier League. It is becoming the Super League. This is where everyone wants to be. And Man United are the biggest club in the Premier League. So if you were Apple, if you can't get your hands on Real Madrid and Barcelona, you'd go to United. And in fact, I think, although United does need $2 billion on the stadium and all of that, and that is a bit off-putting, you would go, this is the biggest team in the biggest league. And if you're a tech company like Apple and you've got the money to buy any football club, you pick Man United. And the reason you pick Man United is because the viewing figures will be insane. If Man United get back to the top, there's no viewing figures like it. It's the Premier League and United are on form, and it's Manchester United. And if you want Apple TV and all this tech to advance, you go and take the Man United TV rights because you're the owners. You go and go, you know what? We got the money. We don't need a couple $100 million from TV rights. Let's go and put Man United on Apple TV, because everyone will go, all us Man United fans will go pay for Apple TV. And do you know what would be brilliant? It's, all Man United games are on one platform, Apple TV, all of them. We have to pay a load of money to Sky, a load of money to BT, a load of money to Prime. Still can't watch all the matches. And it's cost of living crisis and all of that. And I think, that's what Sky was saying, They don't know for sure if Apple want United, but they have reason to believe Apple would be interested in United. However, would Apple's reason for wanting to buy United be from a business perspective of, look what we could do with Apple TV? They could have all the money in the world, they could spend a load of money and they could do the stadium and they could be good. But what about once they're idiots with the money? You can bring billionaires into United, but Man City, they brought billionaires in that employed the right people and built a foundation. Apple might bring billionaires in and they might leave Dumb and Dumber, Arnold and Murtough, to do the business. And while I trust Ten Hag to help Arnold and Murtough and guide them to sign the right players, Apple could just leave some things there and go, okay, it's about having the money, but it's also, I think, about being smart if you do have the money as well. When the news broke that Apple was interested, the share price rocketed, maybe saying they're not interested keeps the shares down. Potentially. The thing is, I do wonder, and because the Glazers can't commit stock market fraud or share fraud, whatever it's called, but I do think the Glazers announced this the day Ronaldo had left to make sure the shares stayed high because they were worried about it dropping when Ronaldo had left. I think they were looking to sell, but they ironically chose to announce they're looking to sell an hour after Ronaldo left to keep the shares and value of the club up. And I do wonder if Apple's a PR spin by the Glazers to just make sure the shares are still going higher and higher and higher. I wouldn't, and I know it's somewhat illegal, but you just don't know of owners. I wouldn't be shocked if Apple was made up by the Glazers in a PR spin to make sure the shares were higher and higher. So then, if there's American investors in Dubai and Jim Ratcliffe looking to buy United, if they pretend Apple are interested and the shares go up, maybe they can get more for their buck. You don't know what it's all speculation. I'm not saying this is what the Glazers are doing, but I also wouldn't put that theory past the Glazers. We all know what they're like. But Apple was never going to happen. It was just a rumor. It was a United. It was just a rumor, and it could just be a rumor to get the price up. And if you look at long-term branding and marketing with the huge global fan base, the cost is nothing for such a rich company like Apple. And it would make a lot of sense for Apple to buy United, again, as Alex has said, but we don't know for sure if they're interested as well. Alice, it has come from a source close to Apple that they're not interested, which is, we don't know for sure, but there are sources saying Apple aren't interested in buying United. We know Jim Ratcliffe are, we know Dubai are, but Apple could just be a PR spin to keep the stock price up. And Manchester United have such a big following around the world, no wonder there's a lot of buyers queuing up. A lot of people want Man United, but the owners are going to be very greedy. And if to buy United, you're going to have to have a lot of money as well. Alex said, I doubt Apple and Amazon both want the entire PR broadcasting rights. They probably don't, but they could bet they have the money to get it as well. US investors scare me. Sir Jim would be good, an ideal well, but if you want to compete with City and Newcastle going forward, it would need to be a rich billionaire. And I think you're absolutely spot on. Keep smashing the likes, people, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new, and share the video as well. And if Apple was smart, they would buy United. They could redefine the stadium with technology. Over 1 billion fans. They could make MUTV, Apple TV. There's so much they could do, plus sponsorships. It's mad. There's so much Apple could do as well. But as Vinicius said, Apple's just a PR stunt from the Glazers to get higher in the stock exchange than selling the club. And I wouldn't put up past our Glazers with that. I wouldn't put it past the Glazers with that at all. But let's get into the next story. I have got a bit of transfer news to talk about. I've got a bit of other news to talk about. We're 16 subscribers away from 54,000 on the channel, people. So please do go ahead and subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're new and want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more. This was the story that we briefly mentioned in my live stream earlier today that I am going to get into. And that was from Footy Insider, which isn't a very reliable source, saying that new Manchester United are placed to agree a deal with Michael Edwards regardless of a potential takeover. I take this with a massive pinch of salt because it's not the most reliable source out there, but this is obviously speculation going about that Manchester United are well placed to agree a deal with Michael Edwards. We will get into the recent news. Cody Gakpo, we're going to scroll here, has commented on a move to Manchester United right now. And it was said here that Cody Gakpo says, I don't get shy about the rumours, but it's a team sport. It's not about one person. I prefer it to be about the team. It's nice things that people write, but I'm not too concerned when he was asked about, rumours surrounding him. And he said, I'm focused on the World Cup. It's nice to hear, but I just want to focus on the World Cup and do my best. That's what Cody Gakpo said about the rumours. And Cody Gakpo, if he's open to a January move, he says, right now I'm busy with the Dutch team. I'll see what happens in winter. In football, anything is possible. And I'm going to be honest with you with Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo to United, I think, will happen. But it's not going to happen until after the World Cup. Cody Gakpo's not going to go, I'm sorry, I'm going to miss the third group game because I'm going to go fly to Manchester and get a deal done, is he? No. Cody Gakpo has very much been honest. He said, in football, anything can happen. I'm not going to comment on it now because I'm focused on the World Cup. I'm focused on the Netherlands. And that's absolute facts. Do you think Cody Gakpo, there's some idiots out there, you Ross Harwards, bullshit liar. There's many of them that are saying, oh, Cody Gakpo's a done deal. Well, it's not obviously a done deal because for it to be a done deal, he'd have to have his medical done. The contracts would have to be signed. There's personal terms that are agreed in the summer, and because Man United did a lot of work on this in the summer, it's very easy to get the deal done, especially with the connections that he is for sale. But nothing's going to happen until the World Cup's over with Cody Gakpo. I believe when the World Cup's over, it's going to move quick. And I do have a strong feeling we could get Cody Gakpo. I'm not going to say 90% or 100% because I know Manchester United, but I do have a strong feeling that United are going to get Cody Gakpo. I really do. And I hope we sign Gakpo. I'd like to, I think we'd all hope we sign Gakpo, and I do think it's definitely possible. And I think we probably will sign Gakpo, but because it's logical and it's easy to do. But I don't trust our board, and that's what Gakpo has basically said. He's open to a January move, but he's busy with the Dutch team. Once the World Cup is over, subscribe, because we will be Cody Gakpo central. And once the World Cup is over, I'm sure you'll see your Romanos and David Ornsteins talk about Gakpo to United, because we're the favourites to get him. Sources close to PSV are saying he will leave. We said in my video earlier today, sources in the Netherlands have said he will leave PSV in January. In fact, he has to leave PSV in January. Reliable sources saying Cody Gakpo will leave. He has to leave PSV in January. That is what's going out and about. And that is the situation with Cody Gakpo. He will leave in January, but he's not going to talk about this move, and he's not going to start working on this move until the World Cup's done. Because why would he fly back to United to do a medical in end of November, beginning of December? He's not. He's come Christmas time when the World Cup's over, he'll be trying to get that Man United move done, because Ten Hag's asked Man United to get Gakpo done quickly. But United can't do anything until he's back in the Netherlands, and then they can work on it. And United can get that done over the Christmas period, so he's in right at the start of January. But that is the situation with Gakpo as well. And Gakpo's a winger. We don't need him. He can play all across the front three, and he's more of an inside forward. He has the profile to become a winger as well. And we need two forwards. Lost Ronaldo and the fella Martial can't stay fit. Yeah, we needed a forward even when we had Ronaldo. For me, Cody Gakpo, someone that can play across the front three, very versatile, and João Felix on loan is so logical. Like, for me, and smash the like button if you agree. I don't think it will happen because it's too logical and smart for Manchester United, but it's the best thing that could happen. Is if you get Cody Gakpo, and for 40 million pounds, Cody Gakpo, most informed player right now, very up for sale, very easy deal to do. Cody Gakpo, bish bash bosh, that is what, 40 million pounds, and then João Felix on loan, which doesn't matter because Cody Gakpo and João Felix's wages combined will be less than Ronaldo's wages, so you're not even like we're losing a load of money or anything. It would just make so much sense. It would just make so much sense for Manchester United to go out and get Cody Gakpo and João Felix on loan, because we need two attackers, like you said. But United don't do anything sensible. They don't do anything sensible as well. I'd be very surprised if United don't have a deal 99% done. I don't think anything's done until after the World Cup, because obviously medicals, all of that, players are at the World Cup. But I wouldn't be shocked if we do get a deal wrapped up for Gakpo quite soon. We did a lot of work on Cody Gakpo in summer. Cody Gakpo had personal terms agreed with Manchester United in summer. I think Cody Gakpo is a deal that once he's back from international duty is easy to do. Gakpo and either Felix on loan or Depay on a free. And I'm with Alex B on this. You get Gakpo and you either get Depay on a free or Felix on loan. Felix on loan, I think, would be better in the sense of it's more exciting, but I think we need two as well. And João Felix is a striker or winger. He can play across the front three. He's more of a centre forward. But I think we're in a day and age in football where, an out-and-out number 9 isn't that important. The only thing I don't like about João Felix is he's not a guaranteed goal scorer. However, in football these days, you don't always need one. Man City won the league 2 years in a row without one. And Anthony is our right winger now, Brazil. Anthony, I think, is out injured for Brazil, which is a shame as well. Feel that they will get Gakpo and Depay on a free and hopefully sign a right back with Delot playing too much. I did see that Wan-Bissaka is going to leave Manchester United on loan, but they keep saying on loan. I think if Wan-Bissaka leaves and there's a price tag, we get a right back. We know that Ten Hag wants a right back. We know that Ten Hag likes Frimpong. I think if Wan-Bissaka leaves and we get money for Wan-Bissaka, bish bash bosh, Man United signing a right back. But I think, I have a feeling Wan-Bissaka goes on loan because we're incompetent and we won't get money for him. And Brandon Williams comes back and plays backup right back for Delot. Because I think United, they might have got a right back, but now United have realised they've got to spend in attack. I think they won't want to get a right back as well. I'd be very shocked if we went and got 3 players in January. Man United don't want to get anyone in January, but they've realised they have to get someone in January because of Ronaldo. So if they spend on Gakpo, I can't see them spending on a right back as well. Although Ten Hag made it very clear and basically said it publicly, he wants a right back and an investment in attack this January. I very much see investment in attack will happen. I know United are going to sign an attacker in January. I couldn't tell you who we're going to sign. If I had to put money on it, I'd say Gakpo. because it's just logical. But you don't know with United. They could get to pile on a free. They could go and get someone on loan from the Chinese league. You know, I will say this now, and I think anyone with a brain will say it. We know United will spend in January, and it will be on an attacker. Because we spend on an attacker, I don't see us bringing in a right back, especially as it's been said that Wan-Bissaka is leaving on loan, not permanent. So I have a feeling Brandon Williams back. Okay, he'll be back up right back. Oh, Malacia, worst comes to worst, you can play back up right back. Lindelof, you know, when Varane's fit and Lissandro's fit and Maguire's fit, Lindelof can play right back. You know, that's what I feel like Man United will do. You know, if worst comes to worst, Lissandro can play left back and Malacia can play left back and Shaw can play left back and Williams can play left back. Oh, Tuanzebe could fill in at right back. Like, I'll be honest with you, that's what United will do. I have a feeling we don't bring in a right back and Brandon Williams comes back and he plays there on loan. Not loan, plays right back. Because the reason I'm going to say Brandon Williams is going to play right back and not left back is because we know how Ten Hag likes that balance in the back. I know Brandon Williams has played as a left back, but Ten Hag is very much like he wants a left foot centre back, he wants a left back. He wants a right foot centre back, he wants a right back. Ten Hag doesn't like inverted in defence. Anthony's an inverted winger. Anthony's a left footer on the right. And Rashford's a right footer on the left. He wouldn't want two right footers on the left hand side. Ten Hag in his system is very much like the left back's got to be left footed and the left winger's got to be right footed, and the right back's got to be right footed and the left back and the right winger has got to be left footed. So I think Brandon Williams, you know, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think there's a bad player in Brandon Williams. I don't think he's United level, and I think if Dalot doesn't get injured, Brandon Williams doing the odd game here and there, so Dalot can rest like a Carabao Cup game. Not the be all and end all. I think Brandon Williams can do a job if he's relied to play 3-4 games. But I think a right back investment would be better. But I do see Brandon Williams playing right back. And we do have games coming up in January. We've got a game in 10 days. Not January, December. We've got a game in 10 days. We've got 2 games coming up in the first week of December as well. Worst case, Maguire can play up front too. I wouldn't be shocked if Man United went and stuck Maguire up front again. I mean, you know, if the Glazers, if Eric Ten Hag needs to convince the Glazers to spend, if I'm Eric Ten Hag, I just go and show the Glazers the video of, you know, I had to bring Maguire on as a striker sub when we had Ronaldo because we had no one. Now we don't have Ronaldo. Maguire could be my starting striker. Do you want that to happen? No. Does Maguire want that to happen? No. Well, Maguire might prefer playing striker because we don't have to do any defending. And, you know, that seems to be what he's bad at the moment. I have to say, Maguire's been very good for England. Maguire is one of them players, he puts on an England shirt, he's phenomenal. Puts on the Man United shirt and you're thinking, freaking hell, who's this imposter? But let's talk about Pulisic, people. Let's talk about, there's quite a lot of news as well. Garnacho contract is in the work. I do want to talk about Pulisic to United. I could go and find the tweet in my notes, but I'm pretty sure United Plug did tweet about Pulisic. So let me go into that as well. Pulisic, I have the Pulisic stuff in my notes, but I'm just going to see if it's going to be in front of us here on United Plug because they do tweet some of the news I get here. New, Manchester United are open to a loan move for Christian Pulisic. Sources have told ESPN with the United States forward expected to be allowed to leave Chelsea in January. You know what happened is we'll get Pulisic on loan and Chelsea will get João Felix on loan. You know, if you know, there's talks about Man United getting Pulisic on loan. If you have a choice of getting Pulisic or João Felix on loan, of course Man United will go for Pulisic because they're really idiots. You know, I just said here, this is my reply to this. Just get Gakpo instead. Ronaldo off the wage bill means there's money. You know, if Ronaldo's off the wage bill, we have the money to buy someone like Gakpo. Like, I don't think Pulisic is a bad player, but he's got the worst injury record ever. And if you're looking to get Pulisic on loan, and we've just been told from Fabrizio Romano that João Felix is available on loan, who in their right mind chooses Pulisic over João Felix on loan? Who? Oh, he's Premier League proven. But is he proven? He's always injured. You know, people saying Harvey Barnes are better. You know, where's João Felix? For me, I just see, you know, I honestly see João Felix going to Chelsea on loan, and then we're idiotic enough to take Pulisic on loan and miss out on João Felix. I don't want Pulisic. If it's Pulisic, you'll know when to take Pulisic. But when Gakpo is available and João Felix is available, you know, Pulisic, can he play striker? No. Can João Felix play centre forward? Yes. Can Gakpo play centre forward? Yes. Although it's not Gakpo's strongest position, for the Netherlands, he plays centre forward. For PSV, he sometimes plays centre forward. He's not an out-and-out. Pulisic is an out-and-out winger. Gakpo's an inside forward. He, you know, very different. There's being a winger and there's being someone that can play across the front three that, you know, can play striker. Pulisic, he's versatile, but he's not, you know, Gakpo's, 6 foot physical. Gakpo's like Ronaldo. Ronaldo started off as a winger, but Ronaldo had the physical build and ability to play as a centre forward or a striker. You could see it, and he obviously developed into a striker, Ronaldo, from a winger. Gakpo's got that same physical stuff that Ronaldo possesses, same statistics Ronaldo possesses, who's a winger that could very easily be developed into a striker or centre forward. Pulisic is a winger, and he will never be developed into a centre forward. It was also said, following up on this news, that sources have told ESPN that United are not planning to make substantial moves in January, although the club's decision to cancel Cristiano Ronaldo's contract has left Erik ten Hag needing a proven forward. According to ESPN, Man United don't want to spend money in January, but they know they have to, so they'll probably go and get Pulisic on loan, is basically what they're saying. And the sources told ESPN that Pulisic's injury problems at Chelsea have been noted by United, but he remains a player of interest in January, of likely lack of proven options available on loan. So, look, I'll be honest, we've got Martial, who's always injured. What sense does it make to sign Pulisic? If we've got already an injured attack now and we need a centre forward and Pulisic, it makes no sense. One, he plays as a winger on the left wing. We've got Rashford, we've got Garnacho, and we've got Sancho that are playing on the left wing, and even Martial that are playing on the left wing. He's a left winger that's always injured. What's our problems? Martial's always injured, and the one position we're fine is left wing. He's not like Gakpo where he stays fit, he scores loads of goals, and he can play centre forward. He's a left winger. There's João Felix on loan, there's Depay on a free. It makes miles more sense to me. And I hope that if it's Pulisic or no one, I'll take it. But Pulisic is not what we need. I'd rather play Garnacho than Pulisic right now. No disrespect to Pulisic. I do think he's a good player, and Chelsea haven't got the best out of him. But I would rather see Garnacho play on the left-hand side. He's more exciting for me right now. I like Pulisic, but, you know, I don't think it makes sense as well. Isn't many strikers out there, which is why João Felix and Cody Gakpo aren't out-and-out strikers, can play. Pulisic does want to leave, and it could be an easy deal to do. But if we're doing a loan deal, why don't we get João Felix? You know, and I always said João Felix is good, but a little bit overrated, and hasn't been brilliant this season. But, you know, has Pulisic done much this season already as well? And Pulisic has the Ten Hag energy in him. Yeah, he does. And Gakpo's a talent doing amazing in PSV at PSV. And, you know, Gakpo is the person I'd take. David said he'd take Pulisic and Gakpo over Felix. I know Felix hasn't been great this season, but Felix is more reliable and can play in that central role than Pulisic as well. And Garnacho down the left, Anthony Gakpo on the right. You know what? Like, I actually really like Garnacho, and I think right now, for me, Sancho and Anthony are right wingers. Rashford and Garnacho are left wingers, and we need Martial and someone else to be our centre forward. Arguably, United need two signings as well. Depay on a free as a part of our business is not too bad either. He's physical and can play through the middle left wing. Like I would take Depay, but I would take Depay as well as Gakpo, but I wouldn't take Depay over Gakpo. Like if we can get Gakpo and Depay, brilliant. But if we're getting Depay and not Gakpo, I'd be annoyed. But like I like Depay, but he's not Gakpo. And I think if we get Depay, I want to get Depay and someone else as well. Because Depay will be free if his contract gets terminated. And the thing about Pulisic and the thing about Depay and the thing about Gakpo is that all three players were linked to in the summer. And this is why I still think that we could get Gakpo. Depay, Gakpo and Pulisic, Manchester United were linked to in the summer. Now, who are we closest to getting in the summer? Depay, Gakpo or Pulisic? Gakpo. So, you know, we're linked to Depay, Gakpo and Pulisic again, who were linked to right at the end of summer when we were linked to Anthony. We're linked to the same three players we're linked to in summer. So our targets haven't changed since summer. But which of those three targets were we pursuing the most in summer? Gakpo, Depay or Pulisic? Gakpo. So, you know, if we're linked to the same people we're linked to in the summer, but we only pursued one of them properly, Gakpo, then I think in January, you know, well, Gakpo's surely the one we go back in for again. Gakpo's the one they choose to pursue over Pulisic and Depay in the summer because they knew Ten Hag wanted them the most. Why wouldn't they pursue Gakpo over Pulisic and Depay in January? Because it'd be about money. That's why. Jonathan David, decent player, but I don't think he's quite ready yet as well. If we're going to loan someone, go for Felix. He started on the wing, but he can play in the middle as well, and he can play Bruno's position. Exactly. And we do also need depth in Bruno's position as well. People talk about 4-4-2. And do you worry about Jan signings turning into a Donny situation, i.e. not playing? Not really, because I think with Martial's injury record, I think they're going to have to play a lot. I really do. I like Martial, but the guy is made of glass. Guys, we are 11 subscribers away from 54k. So if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and click that subscribe button. Only 11 subscribers to go until we hit that target of 43k. So will be appreciated. Gary Neville has come out and spoken about the Glazers selling Manchester United. I do want to get into Gary Neville's comments in just a minute, as well as some other news that's just come out. And for some reason, Gary Neville's comments doesn't want to come up. But Gary Neville has said on the Glazers selling United that it doesn't surprise him. There's a need for capital and cash at the club. Just for the investment, they're going to have to put it into the stadium, training centre and sports project. They don't have enough money. Gary Neville said he's not surprised by the Glazers wanting to sell United because they don't have that next money. He said that Man United fans need to see a manifesto from the new owners on their commitments. Will the new owners take dividends? Will they pay off the debt and interest? These are very important commitments. And Gary Neville's spot on. The new owners need to be people that aren't here to, put more debt on the club and take out dividends. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. He said, if the Glazers want to exit in the right way, then they will sell to whoever's best for the club and not the highest bidder. They will make sure the club is in good hands. That's what Gary Neville says. Gary Neville's spot on. But again, Gary Neville, the Glazers are twats, and we all know that. Gary Neville said, on the attractiveness of Liverpool, Man United, he said, to buys, he said, Manchester United and Liverpool are the biggest clubs in the country by a while, but United will be more sought after and fetch a higher price than Liverpool just because of its might, which is true. And Gary Neville says, unless they've got something sorted, Liverpool are going to have to wait a little bit because buyers will go to United first if they have the money. I think you put both as an asset side by side, you choose United. And people are outraged that Gary Neville said you choose United over Liverpool, but you would. If you've got the money, you choose United over Liverpool. You only go for Liverpool if you don't have the money to buy United. And he said that Liverpool, are in a better position on and off the pitch, and we said that the last 4 years, but you can't deny the scale of Man United. It's just different when you look at the commercial revenues as an asset. United are a better buy, and I think the owners will look at the fact that United get it right on and off the pitch, and Liverpool get it right on and off the pitch. Manchester United will be bigger. And I think Gary Neville's spot on with what he said, and I thought Gary Neville made some very good statements there for a change as well. Be great to see Garnacho and Elanga get a loan and see left wing. I think Garnacho's fine, but I think Elanga needs a loan as well. And Spain 2-1 is this prediction for Spain, Germany. I do know that Spain do play Germany in a few minutes. And Germany have got to get something from this game, or they could be going out of the World Cup, which will not be good for them as well. People saying Spain to win 5-0 over Germany. Spain are good, but Germany have that bit of experience in them. Spain and Germany, for them it's hard being in the same group. And I know that Spain have obviously done really well and Germany didn't in their first game. But talking of the World Cup, there's a good side in Germany. It's a very good side in Germany, and there's a very good side in Spain with a good manager. And I think they're two countries that I think the next World Cup will be up there with the favourites. They've got some good young players, but I think Spain do have the better talent. The only thing for Spain is striker. They still managed to score goals, but that Spanish midfield is very good. That Thiago wasn't even picked. That says it all. Spain very good manager. Germany very good side. Spain and Germany are two clubs I think would go quite far, but they're in the same group, and Germany started quite poorly. It's interesting with this World Cup because no one's looked particularly amazing. I thought Argentina would win. They haven't looked particularly amazing. Right now France have, and a lot of people didn't think France would win again, but France have probably looked the best so far. I think Brazil have the best team. I think France, if Pogba and Kante are in their prime, fully fit at the best, France have the best team, but France haven't been at it yet. I still think, Argentina, they were a bit iffy in the group last time. I still think, I'd say don't write off Argentina. Don't write off France, don't write off Brazil, and don't write off Spain. They're my 4 favourites. And look, I'd love England to win it, but if we play a competent team, England will struggle. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup? And any updates about new owners? Felix on loan would be brilliant with Gakpo at the right back. Gakpo and a right back in Jan. 100% ideal. I'm agreeing with Saeed here. Ideal transfer window is Felix on loan with Gakpo and obviously a right back. The new owner situation, guys, as summed up, I've always said it is pretty much Manchester United, looking at new owners. I don't think we'll get new owners in before Christmas, despite rumours it's moving quickly. I think it's a process that could take a year or so. I think it will be a long process, but we know the US is invested. We know Jim Ratcliffe is interested. We know Dubai is interested. And I think whoever gives the Glazers the most money will get the club. And I think there are talks going on, but there's not a clear favourite yet. What I will say with the new owner situation is there's rumours of who wants to buy Manchester United. There's news going in and out of the club, but there's not a clear favourite yet. There's not someone that you're like, okay, guys, these people are buying United. These people definitely want to buy United. There's not a clear favourite yet to buy United. Thank you very much for the super chat. If Maguire's back to goal as a striker, scoring goals ought to feel natural. You know what? Maguire's best position might be striker for United. He's a good centre-back for England, but for United, he might as well play striker as well. And would it be bad me to hope all the football giants get knocked out of the World Cup and have an underdog. I'd love an underdog to win the World Cup. I always want the underdogs to do well. You know, I think I normally support the underdogs a lot. I want a Man United player to win the World Cup. I want England, obviously, but if England don't, I'd like a Man United player to win the World Cup. But at the same time, I'd almost want the Man United. This is how I feel. It's like, okay, part of me wants the Man United players to be knocked out early so they can come back early, spend more time with Ten Hag, and be more prepared for the end of the season. But then I also want a Man United player to win the World Cup. I'm very conflicted, if you get what I mean as well. And Brazil look to be playing the best and have the most complete score, 100%. I think Brazil are the favourites to win. I mean, I wouldn't write off Argentina, Spain. I think they're up there as well. Even though Argentina haven't been playing great, but I think, yeah, Brazil, you know, I think everyone's put money on Brazil to win the World Cup as well. But look, guys, I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. Please do smash the like button on the way out and, of course, subscribe down below. Been a good live stream, people. There will be a video tomorrow morning, and then I will be live at this time tomorrow. All my live streams start about 6 o'clock instead of the usual 6:45, just because of the World Cup. Don't want to interact with the 7 p.m. game. So smash a like, smash a subscribe. Big up everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching. See you next time, and bye.